This is Dan of 𝗥𝗲𝗂𝗡.
𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗡 from 𝗂𝐻𝐻 Adventure.
We're coming to you from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, but we want to talk about why we left Costa Rica. And if it's okay with you, I have some notes here to refer to as we talk about it because we want to make sure we cover everything.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the cons first, and then we'll talk about the pros and cons. And then we'll talk about if we were going to move to Costa Rica, like where we would pick. Sort of top places in Costa Rica sort of thing. We would not retire in Costa Rica, would we? I don't think so. No.
I don't think so.
So if you're looking for positive video about Costa Rica, you want to shut it off right now. Overall, our feeling of Costa Rica is it's not really our cup of tea.
Yeah, it's the cost of living, and we will tell you why we don't choose Costa Rica.
Yeah. And so we've just finished a very long tour of all over Central America, but right now we're focusing on Costa Rica and why we wouldn't live there. And so let's start with the cons. Chung just mentioned the cost of living in Costa Rica is quite high compared to most of Central America.
Yes.
And so cost of living is too high. The other thing we kind of noticed, or at least I noticed, was that Costa Rica is it's too Americanized. You're not really in a foreign country in some respects. There are cities that are very foreign or have Costa Rican culture. For example, San Jose, Quepos, and there's other small towns. But the towns where most of the expats or are retiring Canadians, Europeans, Americans are very Americanized. And it just didn't feel like why are you leaving your home country is kind of what I was thinking most of the time I was in Costa Rica, when I was in all of those areas that are settled by expats in Costa Rica. Also, I noticed like the food is too expensive. The rents are too expensive. Everything about it's too expensive.
It depends on which part of the Costa Rica you went also.
Right.
But everyone went for the tourist area, so
Yeah.
it's definitely expensive. Like Tamarindo, everyone say that's the best place for living, but the rent is super crazy over there.
Super crazy, yeah.
Yes.
And it was it's so expensive that there's like, I mean, there are a few Costa Ricans living there, but it's foreigners.
Yeah, it's more foreigners' food. Even the local meal is more expensive there.
Yeah, so it's like you're eating in these restaurants that are built for expats, and you don't really get to know what is this Costa Rican food, and what is the culture of Costa Rica like. When you go to these expat or tourist areas of Costa Rica, you're not really getting much of a feel for Costa Rica. So, and so everything seems to cost money. It's been so popularized. It's been so written up about some of these international living, and some of these other places are always talking about Costa Rica, that it's just been 20, 30, 40 years of marketing about Costa Rica. And so now it doesn't really have much of a local feel to it. It's mostly all expats. I don't want to keep repeating the same thing over and over again, but it's been oversold and it's overpriced, and it just doesn't have that charm of going to a foreign country.
And the transportation is not very organized like Panama. I mean, you compare with Latin America, their transportation is not really very organized. It's not easy to find them online. Their schedule, the price, you have to ask local what time the bus to go to this place, to that place. In certain place, you have to do it like that.
Yeah. And so we have another video I'll share with you at the end. It's the best places to retire in Central America. Costa Rica is not very high on that list for these reasons. So, but you have that to look forward to if you want to know why. So, so overall, Costa Rica is gringo land. Gringo is the word that Latin Americans talk about for Americans, and Canadians and other Europeans. Basically people from other countries that have moved to Costa Rica or other Latin American or Central American countries. And this is the most gringo land you can get in all of Latin America. And so it's not really like living in a foreign country. And so you're going to need a car to live there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, a lot of these other places have charming, walkable areas where you don't need a car. You can walk everywhere or take public transportation.
public transportation is not that easy unless you know how to speak English, or if
Spanish.
Spanish. Sorry,
Yeah.
we are back to Asia. So. And also that if you're living in San Jose, then you can take an Uber to go everywhere you want.
Yeah.
It's certain place they have Uber. It's not everywhere have Uber, and
Yeah.
the Uber price is crazy, man. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and there are places in Costa Rica that do have friendly public transportation, like between 𝐂𝐻𝐿 and Manuel Antonio. There's a beautiful bus that runs there for pennies, but there's just not much of that. Most of it is just undefined. It takes you a while to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
The other thing you hear about all the time about Costa Rica, because people go there on vacation and they think, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so green, beautiful animals, and that's true about Costa Rica. But the fact is, most of Central America is like that. I mean, you have places like Manuel Antonio that are national parks that are really beautiful and have been well preserved, and you have places like Mount Arenal in Costa Rica, and you have the peninsula. Chung mentioned Tamarindo.
No, I don't like Tamarindo. I like 𝗂𝐵𝐷. 𝗂𝐵𝐷, the wild beach, is very wide and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's just, you will see, wow, the beaches, the sand is so wide.
Yeah, and that's all the way in the south, almost to Panama. And there's a lot of beautiful birds there, like other parts of Costa Rica.
Yes.
But it felt less developed because it's more of a newer area where you don't. But the problem is they charge you $6 a day to go to the beach there in
Yes.
𝗂𝐵𝐷. So it has its pros and cons, but it's certainly a beautiful area.
Certainly it's a beautiful area, but
Yeah.
you need to pay $6 to go to the beach. Oh, okay. I will go there for visiting.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, in terms of the cons, you have these beautiful parts of Costa Rica, no doubt about it, but it's overpriced. It doesn't have a lot of culture. You're not learning much there, living overseas, and so because it's just so adapted to English speakers, to other foreigners. It's not really a place where you're really getting to know a new culture like you do in a lot of other places in Central America. So what are some of the pros there? We've done with the cons already. Some of the pros I have written here would be Costa Rica is known for its healthcare. I mean, it has really good healthcare, priced reasonably. You can get a policy there for relatively cheap once you get a retirement visa, or once you get a work visa, that kind of thing. And so that is definitely one of the positive there. Also, one of the other positives there, but it's not really better than other parts of Central America, is you can get a retirement visa in Costa Rica for like $1,000 if you can prove you have $1,000 pensioner or retirement income of some kind. So those are the two reasons I think a lot of people talk about Costa Rica as a place to live or retire. And also, there's a huge surfing presence there. If you're into surfing, and mainly it's more of like a 20s or 30s thing. It's like cool techno music and very expensive restaurants where they're playing, like world music and that kind of thing. And so it has kind of a sexy, warm atmosphere to it because of the music and the food and stuff. But most of the other countries in Central America have that feel also, but it's just not dominated by it. And so, gosh, I'm back on cons. Sorry about that. Another pro, it's good for beginners because it's not really, you don't have to adapt much to be in Costa Rica. If you've never lived in a foreign country before and you want to go somewhere where you feel like they know what you need and you can find the foods you want to eat and it's in English and people will talk to you, more people are speaking English. Costa Rica is a good place to go if you're a beginner at overseas. But you're probably going to get bored after a year or two, and you're going to want to go to one of the more interesting other cultures once you've got more of a feeling for what it feels like to be an expat. It also feels more like home, if you will.
Your home, not my home.
Yeah, my home. Yeah, it's more Americanized. It feels more like home. And so there's a benefit to that if you're a beginner at traveling. Once you have your traveler's feet under you or your expat feet under you, then it won't be such a benefit, but it's good for beginners. You also don't need to learn much to go to Costa Rica. You don't need to learn any words practically. in the busy tourist areas, it's mostly you can find people speak English.
Yeah.
Small towns, you'll have trouble. But and of course, I already talked about the beautiful landscapes. Manuel Antonio, the whale tail area in Uvita, Chung
Yes.
mentioned. And Lake Arenal, the mountains, and then you have the peninsula where the beaches are, which is the most Americanized of all,
Yes.
which are considered beautiful. But again, I'm not sure they're more beautiful than other parts of Central America.
I have nothing to say. I just don't want to sound so bad about Costa Rica. I would say that I will be visiting Costa Rica is great, but I will not.
It's not for living.
It's
yeah.
not for living for mine, because I would rather to spend that money in other Latin America country instead of Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Okay, so please continue.
So if you have $4,000 a month, Costa Rica might be okay. It would be not as good as living in like Southern California or other parts of the U.S. that would cost you maybe $6,000 to $8,000 a month. So it's a little bit of a savings, but not like a real savings. So maybe as a pro, if you only have $4,000 a month and you want to feel like you're kind of almost living in a place like Southern California or Florida, where you would cost $6,000 or $8,000, you might save a little money. And so that's kind of a pro, I guess. So I would say, if you had to live there, what are the top 4 places in Costa Rica? If I had to live there, I don't want to live there. Other places, I'd rather live all over the world. But I would say maybe Quepos for culture, or San Jose for culture, or maybe La Fortuna in the mountains because of the beautiful greenery and whatnot, or Quepos for the greenery and the beaches. If you had to live there, where would you live, Chum?
San Jose.
San Jose.
It's a city center. It have Uber.
Yeah.
It's easy to get around.
Yeah.
And it have good food over there.
Yeah.
And because it's more local over there,
Yeah.
so you can get the cheap local food.
Okay, so we promised, so that's it. I mean, those are the pros and cons for us. And that's why we're not really hot on Costa Rica. Like, everyone else out there is, oh, Costa Rica, but we just didn't feel it.
It's not, we doesn't feel that, but it doesn't mean you don't feel it. Maybe you feel you love that, but for
Yeah.
us, for me, I'm not feel that I will be living in Costa Rica,
Yeah.
but I will be visiting Costa Rica.
Yeah, a week or
for
2
fun.
here and there is probably fine.
Yeah.
And so we did a video called The Top Places to Live in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
If you click below this video, you get all the information we just shared. Plus you can watch that video to see what we really did like about Central America. So
Yes.
thanks for watching our video.
Thank you so much for watching.
Please like,
Comment and subscribe.
and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.